When I look back at my life, I see effort, a lot of effort, a lot of freaking unnecessary gold star seeking effort. I see a woman trying very hard to do adulthood correctly, like there was a right answer or a right path, and she was determined to find it. Pull up a chair because your internet auntie here has been doing some math on her own life, and it's not pretty. Turns out the woman who prided herself on being a leader was following instructions the whole time. Yep, I was following them like the directions couldn't possibly be wrong, like the GPS wasn't drunk, chain smoking, and whispering bad ideas in my ear. But here's the thing, I never questioned the GPS. I questioned whether I was driving correctly enough for the GPS to work. I followed whatever looked stable and sounded smart and had enough confident people agreeing on it that I figured it had to be right. I thought if I played it straight, life would play it straight back. It absolutely does not. Life will look you dead in the eye, shake your hand, and then gut you with a smile while maintaining eye contact the whole time. And the sucky part is you'll say thank you. Hey, I'm Sheila. I'm not a coach or a guru. I'm just your internet auntie with mileage, receipts, and a long history of doing exactly what I was supposed to do and still ending up wondering why I felt off inside my own life. I've always said that if you look back on your life and cringe a little bit, that just shows that you've grown. So I cringe a lot. So apparently I'm very, very grown. Like I said, I have receipts and some of them are embarrassing and none of them say what I thought that they would. I thought that they would say, oh, look how responsible you were. Instead, they say, look how you ignored yourself. The part that I didn't figure out until much later is that I wasn't just following instructions. I was the reason the whole thing kept working. And I'll share that with you in a little bit. So I'll say it, I'm a stayer. I stay too long in just about every scenario that you can possibly imagine. If there is a situation that needed one more year of suffering to really round it out, hey, I was your girl. If something was burning to the ground, I would stay, pull up a chair, and start Googling campfire recipes. I stayed in relationships that were already wrong because I believed that I could fix them if I just explained myself better. I thought if I loved harder or communicated clearer, adjusted softer, the other person would eventually meet me halfway. Meanwhile, they're across the street living their life, and I'm just over here building a bridge by myself like an idiot with a crayon blueprint and no permit. Now, I've stayed in jobs way too long because I thought loyalty meant something. I thought if I kept showing up like a golden retriever with a laptop, I would be indispensable, respected. Nope. They just gave me more work and called me a rock star. I stayed locked inside myself because I was scared to be fully me. Not scared of me, scared of what would happen if people didn't like me. There's a big difference. I filtered my opinions. I edited my personality. I adjusted my volume. I convinced myself that being slightly muted was the same thing as being likable. Like if I could just sand myself down enough, I'd finally be easy to hold. I could never be myself because I was staying in a version of me that I thought was palatable, that I thought people wanted, and that they expected. I told myself that good adults do not quit easy, right? Good adults don't blow things up. Good adults stick it out. Good adults don't make it weird. So I stuck it out. I tolerated. I explained. I forgave. I minimized. I adjusted so much I don't even know what the original settings were anymore. I endured things that did not require endurance, and I genuinely thought that made me strong. But staying wasn't even the worst part. What I did next was somehow even more humiliating. Now, please, I know I can't be alone here, but when I was younger, I used to follow the fads. Like all the fads. Like The Secret came out and I was manifesting parking spots like the universe was my personal valet. I cut pictures out of magazines and I glued them on poster board like the universe was sitting by the phone waiting for my vision board to come through. Dave Ramsey had me putting cash in labeled envelopes like a Depression-era grandmother. Do you remember Franklin Covey planners? I don't even know if they're still a thing, but I had several Franklin Covey planners because apparently buying the next one was easier than filling out the current one. Honestly, I had more Franklin Covey planners than a life coach with a hoarding problem. Then the book, The 4-Hour Workweek came out, and I genuinely believe that was a thing, and that could happen to me. I was working 60 hours a week at the time. Marie Kondo told me to thank my socks before I folded them, and I did it. I thanked my socks. I'm not proud of it, but I did it. If there was a new financial strategy, I downloaded the spreadsheet. If there was a new relationship rule, I rewrote my personality accordingly. I had systems for my systems, and apparently none of them included common sense. If confident people said that this is how serious adults do it, I adjusted immediately. I pivoted my goals. I restructured my mornings. Every 5 years, there was a new correct version of life, and I signed up enthusiastically, like a lab rat with a credit card and a strong desire to be told good job. Minimalism, hustle culture, quiet quitting, grind harder, rest more, invest aggressively, no, invest passively, wake up at 5, no, protect your sleep like it's sacred. Bah! There was always a new system promising something, and I acted like the reason it was not working is because I hadn't tried hard enough yet. Not once did I think that maybe the system was stupid. Oh, no, no, no. Clearly, I needed to suffer better, more efficiently, with intention. That's the embarrassing part. I didn't need better systems. I needed someone to tell me that I was doing life correctly. And it wasn't just productivity, it was everything. My body, my diet, my wardrobe. There was always a new version of correct, and I was always exactly one reset away from finally getting it right. I did not get it right. I still have not. I didn't trust myself, so I borrowed other people's certainty and I tried to make it mine. I was self-medicating on other people's conviction. You can't win a game where the same people changing the rules are also the ones selling you the fix. And here's the thing that I really didn't want to look at. The problem wasn't that I kept picking the wrong system. It's what made me keep picking it all. So here's a hot tip from your auntie. You were trained self-reflection is a good thing, but it's the exact thing that has you trapped. You were taught very thoroughly, mind you, that when something doesn't feel right, the first place that you should look is inward. You should adjust yourself. You should refine yourself. You should improve your approach like you're the problem and also the solution, which is convenient because it keeps everything else completely off the hook. Yeah, very efficient system. Very efficient. Yeah, everything's your fault and also your responsibility to fix. I love that for us. And before someone says it, yes, there are people who never look inward at all. I get that. They blame everyone every time for everything. I was not that person. I was the opposite problem. I was so committed to being the kind of person who takes responsibility that I took responsibility for things that weren't mine. Now, school taught you that if you were struggling, you weren't trying hard enough. Not that you had a bad teacher, right? Relationships did the same thing. If he was pulling away, the first question was, what did you do? How can you communicate better? How can you show up differently? The other person was basically a weather event that you were supposed to forecast and accommodate. And then work. Work. Every performance review that I ever had put the entire weight of improvement on me. The environment didn't change. The expectations didn't get clearer. But here's what I could do better. The whole thing runs on people like me. And if you're nodding right now, it runs on you too. So tell me, what was the thing that you stayed in longest that you absolutely should have left? Drop it in the comments. You don't have to explain yourself. Just name it. So now I look back at all of that effort and I don't see failure anymore. I see someone who followed instructions very, very well. I see someone who stayed when she was supposed to stay, tried when she was supposed to try, adjusted when she was supposed to adjust, and kept assuming that if something felt off, it was her job to fix it. That isn't a personal flaw. That's compliance. Because I didn't feel off in my life because I was doing it wrong. I felt off because I was doing it exactly the way I was taught to. I was doing it the way that keeps everything running smoothly. I was just standing there, holding my gold stars like they're going to convert into something useful. They don't. They don't. They just prove how long I was willing to play a game that was never set up for me to win. And I'm not interested in getting better at that game anymore. And if you're not interested in playing it either, the next question is what happens when you actually try to stop? Because the rules don't just live in your head. And that's what's next.